o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order. Here we go. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Yes, roll call.
Strobush.
Here.
Riemenschneider. Here. Van Blaricom.
Here.
Isaacson.
Here.
Flannum. Here. Leonard.
Here. Okay, to start off the meeting, there's no public comment tonight, but under the communications section, I'd like everybody to be aware that the city council has been receiving numerous communications from our citizens regarding the mandatory wearing of masks. It runs, I would say 50-50, and some get more, some get less, but to move forward here, we have been researching other ordinances and what city councils have done in other cities, Mankato, River Falls, and others. So we are going to consult with our lawyer also and see what he has to say on this. And we will move this forward to the public safety meeting next Tuesday. And they can come up with a recommendation for city council. All right. Under new business, welcome to Eric Elkin, our new alderperson at large to the Amory City Council.
Thank you.
And do you have to do, oh, you already swore
I
in?
swore him in.
Oh,
Yep.
you're ready to go.
Yep.
Guess so.
Because you want
Point of
ready or
order, I
not.
think that has to come from, as an accepted motion from the council.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
And also as to the length of his term, whether it's
Correct.
till the next general election or to fulfill the full term
Full
of
term.
of
Yep.
that.
Yep.
That being said, I will make a motion that Eric Elkin be appointed for the full term to expire, what, in
22.
2022?
Yep, April of 2022.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
Isn't it 4 year?
No, two.
Well, I thought he said 4, and then I wasn't.
No,
doing the
for
math.
his term.
Got it.
Yep. So he starts out
Okay.
alderperson at large. Alderperson at large starts out at 2 years.
Got it, okay.
And then if he's re-elected, then it will be 4.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now, another appointment of Eric Elkin as member of the following committees: Parks and Rec Committee and Public Safety.
Motion to appoint him to Public Safety and Parks and Rec.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, discussion action, City of Amory sidewalk acquisition. Where is that? Okay, we went through, is there a summary on here?
On first page, she's got.
Yep.
Oh, the first page.
Looks like that.
In some ways, paper still works. I don't like paper books.
There you go.
There it is, all right. I guess I can just read it. It was brought to the City of Amory's attention that our market study was done by the appraisal firm hired by MSA, indicated a $2.50 per square foot value in Amory based on comps and data. However, it has been pointed out that the city commercial properties are currently assessed at approximately $5 a square foot. Typically, when a municipality tries to buy a property from property owners, generally compensation is at assessed value or slightly above. It would be MSA's recommendation that we adjust our offers to reflect the $5 a square foot assessment rate. This would be fair to the parties selling their property. This would also be a good faith gesture by the city of Amory. That being said, I've included an overview when we approved the nominal payment parcels on Keller Avenue, Broadway Street to Highland Street for your reference. The revision is also attached for council's review. I would also like to explain that the right-of-way along Keller is technically state right-of-way. The city will be purchasing the land named above to bring the sidewalks onto public property. The DOT is okay with the acquisitions being in the city's name. In their eyes, public right-of-way is a public right-of-way. The DOT stated that in the future, if there was another project along this section of Keller Avenue, State Highway 46, that they would clean up the right-of-way at that time and make it all state property. So I hope that there is, will help us move us forward, and I think we have to have, and is there any discussion, I guess?
Yeah, I had a question as I was reviewing the chart of each of the properties. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not much, but I'm wondering why they're rounding up. Why not have it at the $5 square foot based upon that? Is that
That's what
making
they are,
sense?
that's what they are doing.
I'm asking why they're rounding it up.
From,
Right, so if I.
oh,
if
from
I'm reading this-
2474 to 2500, let's say?
Right, right.
Okay.
So some are getting rounding and some are not, and like I said, it's not much, but I don't know why we would round? You know, some of these properties would be getting $5.85 a square foot, which, again, we're talking about pennies here, but.
I don't know that it would be pennies if you've been paying taxes at $5 a square foot for years and years, and now you find out that it's only valued at $2.50.
No, I'm not arguing whether it's $2.50 or $5. What I'm saying is, in some cases, we will be paying $5.85 a square foot instead of $5 because of the rounding, the way that this is described here.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
so-
rounding to the next 50.
It
Right,
is, which
yep.
I agree with Chad. Why would we be rounding?
Yeah, some get 5, some get 35, some get 30, 45, 45.
Can I point something out? When we previously approved this in June, it was rounded back then too. And we approved it back in June.
Okay.
So if you look at the totals and the rounded, it's always rounded up.
That's the way they do it.
That's what they did then. So, and we're just doing the same thing this time.
Yeah. Just means I didn't review it well enough in June, I guess, then.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you, yeah, because I mean, it's the same principle,
Yeah.
so.
Well, it probably should be kind of fair. Maybe we should take what the number is and just add $20 to it, and so everybody gets $20.
Or why don't we just take what the total is and
Call it
have
good.
that be our
And
number?
pay that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds good too. So,
Yeah, I don't understand the rationality of rounding it up.
Does it have to be amended then?
This is our final, right here, this is what we're approving tonight.
Yeah, I know.
So we'd have to amend what we're approving.
yeah.
I'm willing to make a motion to approve the list as written, but using the column as total dollar amount, not the column rounded
Rounded?
dollar amount.
Okay.
Yep, that would be good.
I will second that. I do have one other question, and I think you kind of explained it in the letter too, is, so the city's purchasing this property now. At what point will the state take it over or purchase it from, will they purchase it from us? How will the transition from city property to state go?
Well, I think it's city property, from what I understand.
The next time there's a state
Yeah.
project that they redo the sidewalk, which
Yeah,
will probably be
until it's
in.
done.
Well, after we're all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be long after, a long time from now, probably. And when they come back in and do a state project. So,
So why don't we transfer that property to them now?
To the state?
because they don't have money in the budget to do it.
The,
Might not be timely, might
Yeah.
take a while.
I thought, if I
There was a
remember
reason.
right, from MSA, it was because of the time that it would take to acquire that property through the state versus.
And that's why we're kind of pushing it through now, I think.
Right, and that part I do understand. If it was a state process, this project would be another 2 years down the road.
that's correct.
But I'm just wondering, when will this transition from the state, or from the city property to the state occur? Obviously,
And are we gonna get paid for it?
there you go.
Okay, that, okay.
That's my question, because we're putting probably about what's the grand total of these purchases?
Well, we didn't ask that
Like
question.
55,000 or something like
Yeah.
that, if I remember correctly.
Which I know is not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, or this whole project, but still, it's a lot of money. You know, when are we gonna be made good on that? So, just throwing it out there for
When the funding
conversation.
comes.
Are they,
I
are
don't
they,
have the date.
are they increasing, the grant to take care of the property acquisition?
I'm sure not.
I'm sure not. No, we're just doing this to be fair to the citizens of Amory who own that property. You know, we don't want to assess it at less than what our assessors say it's worth.
Yeah.
And we're just doing it as a good faith to the people that were,
And if they
And it
don't
doubles
agree
it.
to it, they will work around that piece of
Right.
property, and that's not a good thing either. So by increasing it to assess value.
Does this increase the liability of the city on sidewalks?
no. No, our liability stays the same.
Anyways, I believe there's a motion made and seconded.
And second it. Any
Well,
further?
seems to me that the issue then that we're gonna hear is twofold. Number one, everyone who sells X number of square feet is gonna say, I want my assessment to go down by by $5 times that,
Yeah.
which I think should be, why wouldn't we do that? Why shouldn't you do that? Understanding that at our board of review, the assessor said we're only being assessed at 74% now, so your assessment is going to go up in 2 years, 2 years.
Yeah, when we get our final reval. Mhm.
Yeah. But so if we've been assessing an excessive amount for a number of years anyway, I would surely think that should be part of the deal. The assessor should knock that down.
I agree with you.
Well, what will happen is that every person's
Square footage.
square footage is gonna decrease, and that's what they're gonna be assessed on.
Yeah.
So prior to that, they did own it. So really, nothing's changed, it's gonna change when the taxes are assessed.
Right.
To be less this
Less that
square
square
footage,
footage.
because they don't own it. So, I mean, they're gonna actually be paying less in the long run.
Yeah, there's.
Maybe,
They're
you
taxing
know,
Well, they
the
should.
way government works, it's
That's
easy
how
to,
it should work,
it's
because
easy
they
to
no
take
longer
it
own
away,
that
but
land.
it's really difficult to get it coming back, so.
And there'll be some transfer papers, so it will be caught by the assessor, I would assume.
Yeah, this is all going to take place, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, it's going to cost us more, but we're doing this as, as a good faith to keep it consistent to what it should be,
Any further discussion? We have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, discussion action, Amory Regional Medical Center, landlords, City of Amory tenant, lease agreement for the Amory Regional Center West Campus condominium located at 230 Durana Street in the City of Amory. If I remember last time, Chad brought up in fact, it just turned right to it. Tenant's prorated share of common area expenses paid or incurred by landlord in operating, repairing, and maintaining the property condominium Is that where you headed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Under the additional rent.
That has nothing to do with condominium fees or square footage. If the hospital takes care of the snow shoveling and all the sidewalks, whether that's the city's part of it, we pay their fair share part of it. It's expenses incurred for both for common cause. So if the city, does their sidewalks and parking lot, and they'd have to agree on that though, I guess. But he said this is a standard part of the agreement, that there's going to be certain minor, I would call it, shared maintenance costs.
Okay.
But we won't be paying the condominium fees?
No. Oh, no.
Yeah,
Nope.
that was basically the question, right?
Yes.
Or property taxes. There's no property taxes collected on that property.
Correct.
So,
Well, in fact, if they're given back to the, if we sell it back to the hospital, they'll be paying the property taxes on it, correct?
but they're an exempt property
They're
now.
exempt, yeah,
Same
there's
as
no
we are,
tax.
yeah, okay.
Net zero.
Yeah, there's no taxes, but we would have to pay our portion of the insurance, plowing the parking lot, maintenance, that type of thing, so. And one thing our
Fair.
attorney mentioned is we probably should make an inspection of the property, before
Yes.
we finalize, just so we know this is what the property looked like. And when we give it back, that's what we agreed upon, the way it
Yeah.
looks, so.
It's like renting an apartment. So if everybody's in agreement, do we have a motion to approve the lease?
Motion to approve the lease.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Ordinance 04-2020, establishment of a no-wake zone on the Apple River. There is, on our property, on city property, the farthest most northeastern corner is a point that sticks out, and there's 4 or 5 property owners on there. And it's, the channel is approximately 10 to 15 feet out in front of their docks. The big bass boats go through there. A couple of neighbors have already lost 2 feet of property that undercuts the bank, and the bank goes down and it undercuts some more, and it keeps dropping down. So they have asked for a no-wake zone across there. I submitted all the paperwork, and it was approved by the local warden, but it was not approved by the DNR because we didn't have an ordinance stating that it's approved, that they have our official approval. So I wrote up this ordinance. I'm also on the Apple River Protection Rehabilitation District Board, so I'm pretty involved in the river. But anyway, Ben wrote up this ordinance as per DNR guidelines. I have the application here filled out for where it's going to go, location marker, latitude, longitude, all the paperwork's ready to go. If we pass this ordinance, then we can get that no-wake zone in there.
Should it also require the town of Lincoln to pass one too?
Yes and no. If we want to put multiple along there, then the town of Lincoln, they will use this ordinance to move forward. But they said don't, Madison said don't approve 2 or 3 in a row right away, come back in a couple of years and do another one. Because what happens is they get them right down the river, and they've had cases where the whole river, the whole area is no-wake zone, and it wasn't meant to be that way, just meant to guard And I think there's also, you know, you gotta keep your speed below so many feet from the shoreline and there, but if we put a no-wake zone on there, we got something that's enforceable.
Can the DNR write against the city ordinance? Can they
No.
write a ticket?
The
citing
DNR
the
cannot,
city ordinance?
the city can, city police can.
But they're not gonna patrol that area, probably.
Probably not, there's, you
Their
know,
squad cars don't float very well.
but there's plenty of people there that are on the river and a lot of pontooners that don't like, or not don't like them, they kind of self-police, so they can have somebody to call now. They can call the Amory Police Department with the number. This guy broke the no-wake zone. Now they probably have video. So. We're just hoping that the boats slow down on their own, we don't have to enforce it.
So was it gonna be from the public access all the way to the end of the city limits?
Nope. No, it'll be right from,
Just that area that goes through there by the,
Correct.
just north of North Park?
yep, north, from there to the city limits, yeah.
Don't see an issue with that. That is,
Don't we have to have a public hearing and posting and all that as well?
because it's an ordinance?
It depends on the type of ordinance,
Okay,
so.
so what kind of ordinance is this?
This is, I wouldn't call this a zoning ordinance.
Oh,
For a zoning ordinance, yes.
The only other thing would be that at one time there was an issue of airplanes.
That took hours and months.
He's north of the,
Nope, decline.
They do make a wake. I don't know if they would, if there's enough room through that passage or not, probably not.
For,
Airplanes, floatplanes,
there's not enough room. They'd have to be on the main part there. And unless they know the water, I don't think, unless they know the water really good, they wouldn't land there anyway.
is that listed, or floatplane access on the north side of Halls? Is that on any of the what?
No, it's not.
Don't seem to be an issue to me.
Okay. We have a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the slow no wake ordinance for the indicated part of the Apple River on the north end of the city limits.
I'll second it.
Any further discussions?
I just feel we need to, I'd really like to have some more input, some more examination. This is the first meeting that we're hearing about this request. Not that I'm opposed to it. There are already NR codes, natural resource codes in play that the DNR can enforce and that the county can enforce, since we don't have a boat on the river, that require these boats to be far enough away from the shoreline, far enough away from the docks and other, I wanna say it's 100 feet, don't quote me on that, but those laws already exist, are in place. Unfortunately, I think what the outcome, or the desired outcome, is to have a buoy out there, and the DNR won't put a buoy out there unless there's a ordinance in place.
Actually, the Apple River Protection District will put up the buoy.
Or
and maintain it.
whoever
Yep.
would deploy it. But I also don't want that anytime that a homeowner or two or three or four don't like seeing boats zip by their house, or a kayaker paddle by, or a pontoon boat go by with the radio on, that we're passing an ordinance.
Well, you missed jet skis, can include them in there.
Okay, jet skis, airplanes, whatever you wanna throw at it, whatever the opposition is for the day. So I think we need, I would prefer to sit back and examine this a little bit further, get a little bit more information, just because, again, first time that we're seeing it.
Well, I can bring in pictures of where the land is caved in and the undercutting of the bank and.
Have they tried enforcement action at all? Have they tried anything else to mitigate this before passing an ordinance?
We've been talking about this at the Apple River Protection District for 3 years now. Because we're on the river, we see it. We got complaints, the Apple River Board gets complaints on this. And I guess I was on the end, that's, I'll see if I can get this taken care of. But I wasn't in part of the discussion as, what have you done? But there, so I guess I will, I can, our next meeting's in a couple, 3 weeks, but I can bring it up at our next meeting to, there was some reason, I don't, I'll have them work with I can have them work with the county, but by the time county gets here, they're gone, and they're not locals usually, they're putting in a river down here.
Yeah, I'm just concerned we're making an ordinance that's unenforceable, because we don't have anybody out on the water. And two, the county or the state's not gonna issue on our ordinance, which this is gonna be, you know, the gist of it. And the other thing is the process of it, you know, yeah, it's an ordinance and it doesn't have to have public hearing, but I guess I'd just like to see it go through committee and be more of a process.
Yeah.
All of our other ordinances have come up through committee and through discussion. But you have a motion made and seconded on the floor, so.
Is it motion valid to table to the next meeting? Since you are looking to put it,
There's already a motion made and seconded, so it needs to be voted on.
okay.
So,
So all in favor? Any opposed?
I think
Aye.
So let's move this forward, but to what committee should we go?
public safety,
Public safety?
I think that's a good spot. for
Next
it.
Tuesday? Okay, I will, I'll want the homeowners here, and a representative from the Apple River Protection, I guess that would be me. One of the other things I'd like to bring up at this point, though, up at Cameron Bridge, there's a no-wake zone marker on each side of Cameron Bridge, and people obey that. And it's, so they do work. But that being said, let's move on.
I'm not opposed to it, I just think we need to have a little more discussion before we throw it out there.
Okay. Review of general code of the City of Amory ordinances, so. Where do we want to start? Oh, where is it on here?
That's its own folder.
That's what I'm looking for.
So, let's go out here.
Oh, way down, okay, got it. I knew I saw it there. Oh, it's a nice read.
All 332 pages of it. The first thing that I noticed was on page 95, so I don't know if anyone noticed anything before that. And these are just questions or observations. 95 is, page 95 is chapter 171, animals. And it's restriction of keeping dogs, cats, fowl, and other animals. And it appears that we're deleting public park, which we have the dog park, which appears then that if a dog is in the dog park, they have to be on a leash. but it is on city property. So it's I mean, it is city property.
So you could say instead of deleting public park, instead refer to it as city park or the established dog park within the
Yeah.
city limits of
Yeah.
Amory.
It's really to allow off-leash within that area, that identified area, whether we call it a city park or not, which is a different discussion. Right now, a dog isn't allowed to be off a leash in the city.
Should be no problem.
So we should revise it then.
Yeah, to at least off-leash within the designated off-leash area, which is whatever we're calling
The dog park.
it, the dog park.
So I will say off-leash and designated dog park area. How does that sound?
Sure. My next question was on page 100,
Okay.
which is the limitation of number of dogs and cats. I wasn't sure why that was the finance committee. It seemed like it, if it's gonna be anywhere, it would be public safety, but unless I'm missing something, I don't know why that would be at the finance committee.
The finance committee of the police department.
Well, the revision, yeah, the revision says the finance committee of the common council.
Oh,
Is it because
Oh, I see.
that's where the fees are being assessed and established by the finance committee? I don't know if that's the answer, but that's generally why the finance committee is
Yep.
generally listed.
And there's no reference to even
There's
the
not a
police
reference
departments
to-
here. So I'm
yeah.
thinking about the most recent kennel license that came up. It came to the full council after discussion with the police department.
Right.
So to me, it seems like safety, public safety is a place it should be, not the finance committee. Because the fees would already be established by the rate of, the schedule of
Your
fees.
schedule of fees, yep. So we'll revise as suggested. We will put in there public safety, not finance.
Yep.
Did that, I know we talked about it, but under chapter 22 citations issuance, did that get changed to add the fire chief to that or fire officer to that?
I believe so. Yeah, I think we did that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
The next one I found was on 104, page 104.
Yep.
Which is bicycles and play vehicles. I was inferring that it's okay to have your towable that's designed to be on a bike, but it wasn't either explicit or implicit there. You could read it that anything you're towing with your bike is not allowed. I don't know how we change it, but I don't even know what a coaster wagon is. What's a coaster wagon? Is it a wagon with,
It's just a wagon.
just a wagon?
I guess it's a wagon, yeah. So,
do we register bikes?
Well, that was my last one is, do we even register bikes? That's, because that's the next ordinance
Great.
down, right?
We did it one
We always
time.
have.
we
yeah.
used to.
I got my City of Amory on my bike from 77.
Anybody ever seen the registered bike?
I know they have to pay to go on the trails, but
That's
I
about
don't
the
know
last time
anything
that
about
was
registering
enforced.
bikes.
Yeah.
Don't give out licenses anymore?
Not that I've seen.
Okay, because that was part of the clerk's duties.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Okay.
any of that come in since I've been here.
Where's Chief Marson to lock me up? 'Cause
I don't know. I mean,
I've got 4 that aren't registered, so.
the girls at the front have always just done the trail passes, but,
Okay, maybe they changed it.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, it appears that it's an ordinance, so we may have to do something about the ordinance, whether we,
The
Enforce it or get rid of it.
licensing of bikes.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm
if you
trying to
want to do
figure
that,
out
then we
why
should do that,
and why
or,
we would ever want to license bicycles in this city.
yeah.
So when they become stolen,
Yeah.
that we have
Mainly
a
that
record
was it.
of how to recover them.
And revenue.
But,
Yeah.
you know,
But
That's why they
$5.
started it.
there's no serial number on a bike, and if they have a license number,
No.
it's just click, click, and it's gone anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I think it's more cumbersome than it's worth, to be honest with you.
I haven't seen it, that's why it's news to me, I guess. I haven't seen anybody come in and register their bicycle. Doesn't mean it hadn't happened, but,
Yeah, maybe they've done away with it.
That and the fact that somebody has to police it, and it's not that our officers are necessarily overworked, but I guess I question whether we need an ordinance to license bicycles.
It's probably never a good idea to have something on the books that you decide not to enforce anyway.
Right.
Sets a
yeah,
bad
so
example.
maybe, do you want to enforce it or not? I guess that's my question. Should this be something we should,
If we're no longer licensing, I don't
I
think it should be
haven't
on the books.
seen it, no.
I mean, I know we did,
Should check with other municipalities to
ago.
see what they do.
I know we did many
Be
years ago.
interesting.
Years
Yeah,
ago,
it
yeah,
kinda
I
would be,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah,
Our kids had one once in a while, but that's
Yeah.
probably 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, 77, I think that's when mine. City of Avery.
Yeah, I think in the
So-
past it went along with some actual rules of the road training too,
Mm-hmm.
which nobody follows anyway, so.
Well, the police department does, with their bike rodeo has had, I think, pretty good success the last, I don't know if they held it last year, but I think so. Every year they hold that, and they have a good participation, and
So I guess before I go forward with this, what's your suggestion for 180,004?
I think it's a good discussion of public safety to figure out if we need the ordinance.
Okay. So we'll put that, okay.
Thank you.
I hope you're on that committee. I hope you're on that committee, Chad.
So, all right, so we'll defer question
Loading me up here.
180,004 to public safety.
what did we discuss about the emergency management thing? How did we change that?
We didn't because we don't have an official one yet, so
Yeah.
as the ordinance is written, we defer to the county's emergency manager.
Yeah, so I guess I think that needs to have some more discussion too,
Which
rather
one?
than just automatically,
Okay.
give over our
22, page 22.
Is that what page is it?
42
22.
point, 42
Page
It
20.
says that
Thank
we
you.
designate the county emergency management coordinator as the city emergency management coordinator, and I am not ready to, pardon?
Would they have to accept it?
Yeah.
Would they automatically have to be the emergency manager for the city?
It's like if we don't have a health officer, the health department, the county health department automatically fills that role, since we don't
But-
have one.
But I'm not particularly inclined to just carte blanche assign that job to the county, because,
We're still gonna need somebody here
Oh, we need
to
something, yeah.
coordinate between us and the county.
Yeah.
but we have ongoing discussions now with some emergency management folks in the city, and I think that might be a little premature to.
Sure.
Okay. So we'll put that on the agenda for next week.
Blasting and rock crushing permit.
My last one was on page 193,
Okay.
which I may be reading this too literally. but it's about dumpsters and any person temporarily placing a dumpster on a city street shall obtain a permit. If Waterman's is placing it on the street, are they the ones that have to get the permit? Again, I said I think I'm reading it too literally, but is it the owner of that?
We've actually had dumpster permits, and that's when people are doing remodeling, those types of things, and they have to place it on the street because they have nowhere else to put it.
Yep.
I
So-
paid for mine.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, it's whenever you wanna
So
fill
we
up a
could-
dumpster, let's say you're doing shingles or you're throwing
Right, I'm not-
construction
Are you
waste
you're
into
looking
that.
for who specifically identifying who pays
Who,
for it?
because
Yeah, it's
this
a,
it appears, you could read it as such a way that, okay, I called Waterman's to get one delivered, it's their responsibility to make sure that there's a permit in place to put it there. The way
Correct.
that you could read it this way.
You know, what
That doesn't make sense, but,
No, Waterman's would tell you you're nuts.
right.
no,
I went back with, now that I think about it, when I did mine, dumpster, the contractor went to City Hall and got the permit fee, and he tacked it onto my bill, because it's just, they take care of everything.
Yep.
Right down the line, so, yeah, I think you're right, it's probably,
But it should go on the homeowner, or the
Right.
person who's requesting the,
right.
Right.
well, actually, the contractor, you should request the dumpster, not the homeowner.
Well, it depends upon who's doing it.
do it yourself.
It's the homeowner's responsibility, and whether the
Right.
contractor is
Correct.
doing it
Right.
on their behalf.
So
right,
let's
because we
change
don't
any
have a hold on
person
the
to any
contractor, but we
person
do have the
responsible
ability to
for
charge the
cleanup.
homeowner.
Yes, yep, I agree.
Or homeowner,
I
or
think just
business
making it more
owner,
clear.
The property owner.
property owner, there you go.
It's ultimately their responsibility.
Any property owner, not person. Yep.
See, I did read it.
Good job.
And the person is not the corporation. Waterman's is not a person. Yeah. But yeah, any property owner
Corporations are people.
temporarily.
If they give one.
Only if you're running for national office, Jerry.
Okay.
And Patty, last week you were sending, or you had sent out information about in regards to the right-of-way land purchase, et cetera, as far as the snow removal and that type of thing, and nothing was ending up suggesting to be changed on those parts of ordinances as far as responsibility.
Not yet. I mean, that's a good question.
Because I think there was,
And I
I'm trying
have
to
the
remember
ordinance
my
here.
conversation and which page is it, and I'll be able to tell you what I was thinking should have been said.
Oh,
This is the ordinance, what I sent.
nice guy that you
So it's
are,
in here,
Paul.
so it's in here, what is it?
I don't know if it's in here. See it, Paul. I don't know if it's in here. I think this was just the original ordinance.
Okay, so it's not in here.
So it's not in here. But this was just for your information, what we have currently, right, in regards to who's responsible for cleaning it up. So that's not part of this discussion. This
Okay.
is just for.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that
Yep,
wasn't in
yep.
here at some point. And are we gonna be discussing that at a different meeting? Or is it not necessary at this point
It's
in
not
time?
necessary right now, but it's
Okay.
just, I think we need to discuss it at a future, probably Public Works, Public Safety.
Yes.
We do need to do that.
Yep.
I kind of have it on my radar to probably put it on there, so,
Before the snow flies.
before the snow flies. So we can figure out how we're gonna do this. Yeah.
If we have to line people up.
Yep,
for-
and I think I have it, I think we should probably do it next week. I think that's probably a good start, so. Right. Yeah.
Hear what they're talking about.
Snow and ice removal.
We own the sidewalk.
Yeah, if we own the sidewalks, how are we gonna handle who takes care of removing the snow?
It's right away. Well,
Yeah.
sorry, it's not up for discussion at this point.
Yeah, so it's just, yeah.
Never mind.
So I'll put that on probably Public Works and Public Safety next week, just so we can look at it.
Might just well put it on finance too, because we'll have to
Finance,
pay
yep,
for it.
okay. I'll make a note.
It'd be interesting to get some public comment on that,
Yeah.
the letter that we got or the inquiry that we got anyway regarding sidewalk clearing.
Right,
The city's only excursion into that I'm aware of was a couple of years ago when we did it for one winter.
Yep.
And it was met with limited success, I think primarily because the city crew was absolutely opposed to doing it. And
Well, wasn't that, they hired some younger kids to do it? And then the problem you get into is somebody wants it done at 2 inches, somebody wants it done at every half inch. And, you know, where do you draw the line? And then some people wouldn't let them do it. You know, so it's gotta be kind of an ordinance and set up. just
I agree. And it seems to me that it has to be carte blanche also. I mean, you have to say we're going from the eye clinic to Memorial Drive or wherever, and we're gonna do them all. And then you get into the issue is, well, my sidewalk's only this wide, and so-and-so's got 50 feet, and so on, and how do you collect it?
But now we'll own it,
Pardon?
but now it'll be ours. So that'll
Well,
change it.
not all of it will though. We don't own right up to the doorways of
Oh, yeah.
all the businesses, I don't think. Would seem like maybe there should be a poll of the downtown business owners to see, because we all know there are people that take very good care of their sidewalks. And there are people that are perfectly happy if it snows on Friday to not get the snow off till Tuesday. And-
well, it's hard too for the ones that are empty, you know, that are just sitting there, it's like, you know, they don't always probably clean them like they should.
Can I bring us back to the discussion point that we're talking about general code here, and I think we've diverted off to other areas that we
Yep.
can discuss later.
Yep, that's fine.
So since our mayor has absconded, do you have any further?
I didn't have anything more that I noticed.
Are we gonna get another shot at this now?
Well, I think, I can postpone the due date, it's July 24th, I could certainly do that, have another go-round at it. But I really do want you to look at it, and like Chad found some things, and if there's other things that you notice are, you know, stand out. Ben and I did the best we could with what we thought, but that's not our decision, it's your decision.
I mean, I think one general thing that I noticed, and I didn't review every ordinance, only what was here, it seems like every place that we reference a dollar amount, we should reference them directly to
To the schedule.
the schedule.
Yep.
Because that's what we've done on other ordinances.
Yep.
And that's why we had the schedule in the first place, is that then we can change the schedule and don't have to change.
Yep.
Yep,
Well, it's an easy way too to look to see, are we out of line with anything without reviewing every ordinance.
right.
So, do we have any other additions to, or any other discussion tonight? If not, that completes our agenda, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's made and seconded. We